We just saw last night some major escalations by United States against the Islamic Republic in southern Iran. It was um, it was heavy. There were some big strikes, but it's not at all r- close to what's needed and what the Islamic Republic deserves, given that even after they killed four American servicemen, after they bombed energy infrastructure around the Persian Gulf, they still had the audacity to attack United States base again with a surprise attack in Jordan. The American response right now is weak right now against the Islamic Republic. I'm just going to be transparent and honest with you guys, right? I hope that's what you expect from me. If you disagree, I understand, but this is not what should be done right now. Right now, the Islamic Republic is feeling a lot more confident. Hopefully, they're planning something bigger, but if not, right now, what we're seeing is making the Islamic Republic a lot more confident regarding not seeing much of a consequence, much of a consequence to what they're doing, unless there's some big plans, something big being planned. This is really, really small compared to what needs to be happening right now. I mean, even if you put the Iranian people and the Iran and what regime change aside, if you put all of that aside, um, just as a demonstration of American deterrence, Americans have been killed, American bases have been attacked, and even if you just focus on that, this response is very weak. I'm going to be honest with you guys. It's disappointing. There has been escalations in southern Iran around the Persian Gulf. It's not at all what it needs to be. It's not even close to what it needs to be. Um, I hope they're planning something bigger. But the Islamic Republic is calculation is that the Americans are unwilling or unable to respond significantly, so that they're becoming more and more daring. So they're noticing that the Americans are only doing tit for tat, and every time they're coming out and promising that they're gonna bomb the effing s out of them, what we're getting is some same as usual, some bombings in southern Iran. And the Islamic Republic thinks like, okay, yeah, I can tolerate that. And they're recently they killed four American servicemen and women. The expectation was that there's going to be a huge reaction to that by Americans. There wasn't a huge reaction by the Americans in response to that, unfortunately. And now, even if there is one, it's kind of so late. The United States should have signaled to the whole world that when you kill Americans, something significant will happen, and it didn't. And that's going to put more American soldiers at risk, because then the rest of the world says like the consequences to killing Americans was not that big of a deal, so we could do more of it. And this is why the Islamic Republic is now, when people didn't expect it, bombed, started throwing ballistic missiles again at American bases in Jordan. um, and they're bombing Saudi and other oil infrastructure, and the pushback is very minimal. And I understand the argument is that the Americans are preparing for something big, but right now the way it looks is, as of right now, again, this could change. Right now, the way things look is that the Americans are, hopefully, this is the situation similar to what was before February 28th, where everybody was waiting for something big to happen. And then all of a sudden it did happen. But if it continues the way it is, then it's going to embolden the Islamic Republic, thinking that, well, they can get away with what they're doing. Because I know that whatever damage is being caused to the Islamic Republic in southern Iran is not something that they think that is going to do, they can't tolerate, right? So hopefully something will change very soon, based on what is happening right now and based on the language that is coming out of the White House. At least appearances looks weak, especially given that President Trump, again, this might be again 5D chess move, psychological war games or whatever that people say usually here. But even President Trump was asked that what he thinks about uh, China right now selling 70 million, I think, new bullet missiles. Let me see what that is. So yeah, the Islamic Republic is procuring up to 400 Chinese shoulder fire air defense system in a 70 million dollar deal to rearm the regime. So that was confirmed, and President Trump was asked about it, and he said, "Well, I'm surprised because they were very um, they basically ensured that they're not going to do anything like that. That's what they told me." Again, you might say 5D chess, like, oh, could President Trump be that naive to think that the CCP would not support the Islamic Republic, or to just take their word for it? Oh yeah, manpads, yes. Hopefully not. Hopefully nobody is that stupid, especially the president of the United States. It's hard for me to believe that president of the United States would be that stupid. It's hard for me to believe anybody would be that stupid. But even if he's not, well, when he says that, he looks stupid. He might be like, no, he's very smart and he's playing games. Well, but it looks stupid. Like, even if it's not, it looks stupid that you're saying that, right? And then he said that, well, if they are doing that, I would be very disappointed. Like, not again, that's like a very weak response. Like, it's not, if they're doing that, this is going to be the consequences. I'm going to do this and this and that. Like, I'm just going to be like, I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed. Like, I don't know, these do sound like, again, if there's a bigger plan behind the scenes that is being made right now, and this is like exactly like February 8th, and something big happens, we're going to be like, okay, great, yep, so all of this was just for show, and something significant did happen. But if it doesn't, all of this looks honestly pathetic. If it doesn't happen, I mean, and it's going to not just embolden the Islamic Republic, but also the CCP. The CCP is going to stay watching and taking notes. And if the United States can't handle the Islamic Republic, and they get away with doing attacks like this without much of a meaningful reaction, then they think like, well, we can do it more. If they, I mean, we're much bigger than the Islamic Republic. This is going to be bad for Ukraine. This is going to be bad for Taiwan. This is going to be bad for Israel. This is going to be bad for civilization. So I hope for the sake of everybody, um, Americans, Iranians, Israelis, and civilization as a whole, that we soon are going to see a major reaction. And if we see a major reaction, I'm going to be like, yep, great job. All of this was just for show. Um, Good job, President Trump. You fooled them. But if we don't see a response pretty soon, then all of this was extremely weak and pathetic all the time. Like, this entire time, this was weak and pathetic, and there was no show. There was no 5D chess. It was just pathetic. But I'm not saying this for the sake of the Iranian people. Uh, I am, but not just like, if you're an American that doesn't care about Iran or Iranian people, this is really bad for America. It's really bad for America, for American targets to be hit like this, and America not showing that there are big consequences. There should be big consequences. For you're a superpower. If they kill Americans, you need to rain hell on them. The whole world needs to witness what happens when you kill Americans. So forget Iranians, forget Israelis, forget Taiwan, forget Ukraine, forget everybody, forget the whole world. If you are, even if you are an isolationist, okay, just then they kill Americans, you're a superpower, act like a superpower. The whole world should see what happens when you kill Americans. All right.
First is Jeff.
So, I mean, very much points well taken regarding threat credibility. Uh, and I'll go over this when I do the overview of the strikes, like an overview assessment of the strikes. It's not the same as usual. I mean, it's not where it's needing to be. It's the beginnings of where it's supposed to go, where it should go. There's two discussions, not the least of which is between Commander Cooper and he wants to do 14 days of mass aerial bombardments against the regime. And there's, CENTCOM, the head of the Joint Chiefs, who had mentioned he is concerned regarding the stockpile of critical munitions. I would contend, where I shake out, I'm very much with General or Admiral Cooper, um, that the best way you conserve critical munitions is to kill the regime and bring this to a swift and decisive conclusion, which we can do. As far as now, that's like the broader overall discussion in the administration, at least as open source reporting is illustrated. Why is this not the same? President Trump said something very specific, Armin, which is he's targeting the regime. The strikes that occurred last night very much are the beginnings of that. I mean, on top of like US and Saudi strikes against proxy forces in Iraq, that was the beginning. And then it went up some more, where we struck numerous targets, disproportionately IRGC and regime headquarters and leadership. So that's the beginning of what Donald said. It's not the same as, well, we just bombed the site that launched the missile. They did do that. They definitely, they've definitely hammered things in the strait and reduced their capability. There is a much greater focus on command and control and leadership. And, President Trump is making it very clear. The leadership is not going to be responsive to words, and they will be responded to with bombs. So if you want to play around, understand you should get your shit in order, and probably bring a lot of condoms for however many times you're going to fuck those 72 goats, because we're going to arrange that meeting. As far as MANPADS, it's definitely, there's some very critical things. Very well put, Armin. I'm glad you brought that up. It is very much demonstrative of the organizational operational ties between all elements of the autocratic bloc, between Putin's criminalized counterintelligence state, or in this case, the Chinese Communist Party and Mullah regime remnants, right? And how they all coordinate their efforts with each other. Yeah, it's true. Well, we will sit there and send like 400 MANPAD missiles. That's great. We're not, I would contend that there's a very lower probability we're going to make the same mistake again and have our strike aircraft fly low. All we'll do is fly higher missions out of the range of MANPAD missiles and still drop GPU and GPS guided bombs and still kill your leadership with none. There's nothing you can do about it. And he's right. In fact, the kind of the munitions that were used illustrates this change in focus. And I'll go over that in the strike assessment, why it's not the same. Where is it? What's the other one? So you said about the MANPADS. I think that's pretty much it that I had. Oh, yeah. Yep, that's it. So yeah, MANPADS, while it's something to be taken into account, it definitely illustrates the organizational operational ties between different actors, how they coordinate their efforts. When it comes to being able to put warheads on foreheads, yep, we'll just fly higher missions out of the range of MANPADS, and they're still dead. I'll go over some of the more important details when I do my number one, Armin. All good points, though, man. You're very valid about maintaining threat credibility, brother.
Next is Raham.
Hey. Yeah, it's definitely, I agree with you. I mean, it did seem quite soft to what Trump was promising, but if they're indeed preparing for a regime-ending attack, it doesn't make sense for them to kind of go all out now, especially considering how hard that is going to be to coordinate. Because I'm imagining that it's going to be the U.S., Persian Gulf states, Israel, maybe some NATO countries, I doubt it, and also the Iranian resistance that have hopefully been trained by now. And if that does happen and the regime knows that they're about to fall, they're going to go fucking buck wild and hit everybody. They're going to destroy, they're going to start launching attacks at the Gulf states. And the logistics of coordinating that to reduce casualties it takes time. I saw this thing yesterday that Shin had posted that was about Trump being mad at his commanders or some people because they couldn't make a decision about how to coordinate the final blow. So if that is indeed in the books. It does kind of make sense for it to be a little bit more restrained. Although I looked at the attacks from yesterday, there was a guy that uploaded a video and said they hit Syria so hard oil came out of the ground because there was a massive fucking hole that was like 2 stories deep and there was a little bit of oil bubbling out of the ground. So I think they were preparing for a massive attack. I mean, they were on last Friday and then they held off, and it seems like they're preparing for something even bigger. But the holdup is probably just the coordination of everything. And I've looked around, I've thought about it. I cannot put my finger on what the holdup would be exactly between all that, except for logistics and trying to basically reduce casualties. So, but I mean, I think a lot of people are getting antsy, and I think you are right in other people saying, "Oh, look, they're so weak, they're not going to hit us," but then they're just going to come in and torpedo your regime into hell, which would be great to see. That's what I think.
My name is Armin Navabi. I'm an Iranian political analyst with decades of experience fighting the Islamic regime inside and outside of Iran. Make sure you follow me for more, and also make sure you join our discussion group. I'm there almost every single day. Come talk to me there and the rest of the people there in our group calls. It's a great place to meet and talk to people who like talking about politics. The link is in the description and or in the bio. You could also get there by scanning the QR code on the screen. See you there.